Hello everyone, my name is Scousmouse and welcome back to my channel. If you're looking for a really compact tree farm that can be used in Minecraft 1.15 and also the new snapshot of 1.16, then I have got just the build for you. This thing can be used AFK or not, depending how much wood you're going to need. So, if you're interested, stay where you are and I'll show you how to build it. Right guys, before we get started showing you how to use this and how to build it and all that fun stuff, I just want to say a big thank you to Eagle621. This is his design. I saw it a while back and it is the easiest and most efficient tree farm I have seen, which is why it's the one I choose to put in my builds. I have changed this a little bit. I've put a bit of a slight different change to how you turn it on and off to scousy it up a bit. But I will put a link to Eagle621 in both the corner and down in the description below. Now, this works in Minecraft 1.15 and also in the new snapshot of 1.16, so it is appearing to be quite future-proof. And just so you know that I really am in 1.16, you can see here, I'm on some warped logs, and if I press F3 here, you can see on the top line there that I am in the new snapshot. So, with that said, let's have a look at how this thing works and how we use it. First thing we're going to do is put some saplings in our offhand, and we do that by pressing the F key. You may have mapped it differently. The default is the F key, and that'll put it in your offhand, and we'll have an axe in our right hand. This thing can be used either AFK if you want to go off and have a sandwich, or you can just use it to get the wood you need. If you use it AFK, you will get the stripped log variant of the wood. Bear that in mind. If you want just the normal logs with the bark on them, you're going to need to do it a little bit more of a manual process, but it will work for both. But if you want to go and have a cup of tea and a sandwich, then, and you don't mind having stripped logs, do it AFK. So in order to show you how this works, I'm first going to move over into survival so you can see that it does work for real. And I'm going to drop down. Obviously here you probably have steps or something coming down. And as you can see, I've got my saplings in my offhand and an axe in my right. The first thing I'm going to do as I approach here, as I stand on this pressure plate, you'll hear the dispenser start to tick. Okay, so I am going to crouch and I am going to press my right mouse button to place a sapling. And as you can see, a tree has grown and the circuit has stopped. And I'll explain why the circuit stopped in a moment. To use this AFK, I'm going to walk as far forward as I can. And I'm going to look right up the trunk, almost to the point where the two blocks meet. And I'm going to press and hold both mouse buttons. And then once we've got a bit of a cycle going of it planting saplings, taking the wood, I'm going to press F3 and T together. That'll reload the resource pack and that will allow me to go fully AFK and make a sandwich. So let's do that now. So once this reloads, there's a slight delay in between the system placing the sapling and starting to shoot the bone meal at it, and that's just the way the redstone is worked to give it time for you to grab everything you need. And as you can see, this is really quickly putting stripped logs in my inventory. Now let me get this tree. Get this one manually, but we won't place a sapling this time. And as I step off the pressure plate, the system will disengage. And as you can see there, I've gained 26 logs in a matter of seconds. Stripped logs, that is. So now let's have a look. If we didn't want to get stripped logs, how could we do that? So if you don't want stripped logs and you want to go AFK to get normal logs, you can do it in the same fashion, but you're going to have to punch the wood with your bare hand. So what we would do there, same as before, step on the pressure plate. We're going to crouch click against the dispenser to place a sapling, wait for the tree to grow, And then we're going to look up, press both buttons at the same time, F3 and T, take our hands off, wait for the game to reload. And this will carry on going and give you normal logs whilst you are away at the supermarket, having a snooze, whatever you choose to do. Now, bear in mind, this is obviously going to be a lot slower with giving you your logs than if you do it with an axe. Okay, but it does work. If you're pushed for time and you want to use an axe, but at the same time, you know, you are in a bit of a rush and you just want some logs. Let me just take this wood away here. What you can do is just manually, you know, crouch click, place your sapling, wait for it to grow, and just take it without stripping it. Place your sapling, get your axe, wait for the tree to grow, and take it. And they are the 3 different ways in which you can use this in both AFK and non-AFK ways of doing things. Now, as you can see, it has thrown some wood and saplings around, which you can grab. You could even, if you wanted to, add some hoppers around the perimeter of the place that will catch those and feed them into a chest for you. If you wish to do that, then, you know, that would be nice and easy to do. Just be aware of the redstone so you're not interfering with it that way. So let's look at how this works. Let me just change back over to creative mode and I'll be back with you guys. So what I now want to talk about is how this thing works. If you want to just go straight to the build, there will be a timestamp in the description and also popping up on your screen. So the way this thing works is it's actually got 2 different types of redstone clock working at the same time. The first one is the one that engages when we step on this pressure plate. And what's going to happen when we step on this pressure plate, it obviously activates that redstone signal there, but we need this torch here to invert the signal. Okay, and when that signal is inverted and goes round, this sticky piston's going to retract and pull these observers so they're looking at each other like so, which obviously causes this really fast tick out of the dispenser. Because if you've ever seen, let's just do this up here, in fact. Whoa, fly, Jimmy. If we place 2 dispensers looking into each other, look what happens to the back of the dispensers. It gives a really fast tick, and obviously each one of those ticks is going to make the dispenser fire 1 time. And the other redstone clock we use is the one at the back with these comparators, and this is called a decay clock. And the way these work is when you press the button, watch a redstone signal, you can tell how strong it is by how bright the redstone dust is glowing. So if I press this, watch what happens. It's really bright, and over a couple of seconds it gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer until the signal disappears. And that is what gives us the delay in between us breaking that first piece of wood and the dispenser starting to fire. That is to give time for you to start taking some wood before it starts, you know, growing under the tree by firing the bone meal. So that is how both of these redstone clocks work. So now let's talk about how to build it. Now, as you can see here, because I'm a genius, let me just clear this out of my inventory because we don't need it. I have, like always, set out the area we're going to need. Now, this is a 6x8 area with an additional little 3x2 at the end. And to build this thing, we are going to need 2 observers, 1 sticky piston, 1 dispenser, 5 comparators, 1 redstone torch, 2 repeaters, a couple of building blocks of your choice, 16 redstone dust, and 1 stone pressure plate. So as you can see, not many resources there at all. So I'll just grab all them up. And so what you're going to need to do, the area that you've laid out, or I've laid out even, we're going to need to dig that out 2 deep. And by sheer coincidence, I didn't know this was going to happen, guys. Someone has already dug this out for me. And it also looks like they have placed some... it looks like they've placed some wool here to show you where our build is actually going to go. That is absolutely amazing. And I've just lost my dispenser out of my inventory. The first thing we're going to do, we'll start at the back and work our way forward. Okay, so we're going to get some of our redstone dust and we're going to place 2 dots at the back there. And then we're going to do a line going all the way back here. And then we are going to bring this across like so. We're then going to get our comparators and we're going to have 2 going that way and 2 going that way. And that is our decay clock. What we're then going to do is get a repeater and put it there facing in towards the comparators. And we're going to place 2 blocks, one here and one here. And we're going to place redstone dust and then another repeater coming in like that. Next, what we want to do is place another block here, and we're going to have a sticky piston coming off that block facing the back here, and we're going to add a dot of redstone on top of that block there like that. Now, what we're going to need to do here is get an observer pointing upwards. Now, obviously, I'm in a super flat world, so it's going to be a bit more tricky because I'm going to fall out of the world. But if you just dig down a couple of blocks and then come up, and we're just going to put the observer so its little red dot is facing the bottom there, and then we're going to come on top and we're going to jump and have another one that is going that way like so. We're then going to get our building blocks again, and just above and to the side of where this repeater is, we're going to place 2 blocks. And we are going to get our comparator, and we're going to have the comparator coming out of there, and we're going to place redstone dust there. We're then going to come back over the other side, and we're going to place a building block here, and put a redstone torch on the side of it. And you can see instantly that piston has extended and moved the 2 observers out of line. So what we're now going to do is place our pressure plate on the block to the side of where the observer is extended to, and then just run a couple of redstone pieces of dust there. So now if I step on this pressure plate, the piston will retract, and there we go, nice and simples. What we then need to do is get a dirt block, and we want this dirt block here next to, that's not a dirt block, you idiot, next to that comparator, and then we want to get our dispenser and put it facing the dirt block on top of the observer. And that is it. It is really that simple. And then you can fill in, obviously, all the areas however you wish. I will show you how I have filled it in, but before we do that, I just want to point out, like I do in most of my videos, if you are building this on a server, in fact I'm going to use the blue one just because we're in 1.16. If you are on a server and you are building redstone, please light up your circuits. This will prevent lag, and is part of being a team player, as not to cause lag for any of your server mates. I know I've put way too many here, but I'm in creative. What you're going to do about it. Right, so let me cover this up, and I'll show you how I like to cover it up. One thing I did forget to mention there, because I'm a silly Billy, if you're going to, this will work with most saplings. Acacia I wouldn't recommend, because obviously they grow all higgledy-piggledy and often a diagonal line. Dark oak won't work because you need to place 4 of them for them to grow. Birch and spruce and jungle are fine. If you want to grow oak, like I have been, what you will need to do is build up 7 on top of this dirt block, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason for that is you don't want any of the giant oaks with branches going off all over the place. You just want a smallish oak tree with a single trunk that you can chop away and onto the next one. So bear that in mind. If you're using other trees, don't worry about this. You will end up with some that are too tall, but the others will just grow in a straight line, which you can sort out afterwards. But oaks have a tendency, without this block, to grow in all kinds of funky directions. So I hope you found this useful. It's, like I say, it's a tree farm that I do favour using. It's the most efficient one I've found, super easy to build, and I think Eagle Eye did an amazing job coming up with this design. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And until the next time, Scouse Mouse out.